Okay, so using Levy to prove the concept of a self-supporting disk of water. This is what this is all about. We're just looking at the equator across a hemisphere of water. And that the assumption that I'm making, that we're not seeing, is that the equator, the hemisphere on the base and the hemisphere at the top are actually separated by an equator. So that when we observe a bubble of water, we're seeing the beginning and the end of time of each moment as we see the base and the top. And the effect of that in subatomic world is to solve the kinetic tensor, to replace it as a pseudo tensor and call it a natural tensor. So there's one tensor and there's another tensor. And I've coupled them together at the center in classic format, and that would become a pseudo tensor. That wouldn't work using current mathematics. That's set to 0. So we use this instead. So here's the subatomic natural tensor, and now we've got the stretching, the tension and bending between at the center caused by the rotation of the whole universe around the center of the planet creates this force. And so we get the vector axis created from the true axis. So true north is created from the tensors. Tensor is always trying to go to north, which is the to Polaris, which is where the string where we hang from is totally true north. The vector axis, the spin of the planet, is based on the tension and bending of all the mass work that's done against it. So, yeah, does that make sense? The Bose-Einstein condensate, as I understand it, you solve it with tensors. So you're just solving it with replacing a natural tensor at the center. Yeah, and so that's the concept. And then, so the yin-yang force, and how do we analyze that? This is statically indeterminate loads. So I'm saying this disk supports itself. That vector axis is supported on its own roof. These tensors go off to the outside of the universe and create the roof that this is standing on at the center of a molecule of water and at the center of the planet. It's the same thing. So this is what Levy proved in 1906. So I was really pleased with this. So this is Levy straight from 1915, his doctorate, and this diagram is introduced to demonstrate the concepts of J and K. And so all he's doing is he's taking the concepts of Einstein's Bose-Einstein tensors using I and J and pinching I shut and chucking it over there. So all the standard model is just expansion. It's covered by I. Now let's look at the orthogonal force. So expansion is expanding out. This is the surface. Can we analyze the surface using statically indeterminate methods, the Zeeland electrics? Yeah. It's complicated. Here it all is. Here's all the method. It's irrelevant. He's proved it's true because he got his doctorate from it. So that AB5, I'm now saying, right, I believe that AB5 should look like this. So there's AB5, and it's spinning with a vector axis. This spinning rotation creates its own elastic plastic strength of the bending here of the forces that Levy showed us in AB5, the true version of it down here, let's see. So here's the bending forces that he shows with the spinning water here creating two forces of twisting, anti-clockwise and clockwise twisting, creating a strength in the drop of water which is spinning in a vortex. So that spins in a vortex, creating a vector axis at the center of the vortex, completely associated entirely with angle, velocity, angular momentum, all the things that we see in Einstein's work. Einstein specifically work because it's all about the surface. So the concept is this. This is the strength of material, and here it is being proven. So this is what I'm saying happens. Yeah, rotation causes strength of material through bending. The rotation causes the bending and the tension. You end up with negative tension, which is Poisson's ratio. So as you get negative tension, that increases, but that can't move because that's rigid body moment. This is the rigid body instant, and so we get cavitation occurring at the start of the wave here in function 2. This is a leak. There's a leak in here. There's a hole there that leaks in from the light that's created. So light and water gets in the teeniest, weeniest amount gets in and causes cavitation, and this is then hollow. That's a sphere. That's cavitate. Euler's cavitation occurs there. From the spark occurring at the end of the moment, the action of it is experienced retrocausally at the beginning. And then we end up with the twist motions here. So these motions, that is the strength of the material. Yeah, here being created. There, that tension is created. From between there and that doesn't exist. That's just tension expressed there. That actually exists as an actual entity, the edge of the universe that this thing is referencing. Yeah, so making some sense. So this is all Leve, proof of concept, all Leve, already proven, using the J and K as the tensors, as the next dimensional tensors, using exactly the same techniques. You can prove that the Earth is the center of the universe, and that provided the Poisson's ratio rate, the rate is positive. The rate of the square is the rate is expressed as the rate of twisting force between the Earth and the Moon at the center of the yin-yang stuff. There you go. It's a rumble through, isn't it? But the stuff that's coming through is so exciting at the moment. I'm just chucking it down, publishing it on X. I'm waiting for something to happen and thinking the thoughts. Because I think it's thinking the thoughts that really does the work. Because it swells the heart. See you later.